In pursuit of exploring creative outlets and perspective, join me on this journey. Wait, what was I saying? Who cares? This is Dandemonium Podcast.
Indeed it is. Bow, bow, bow. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning back into the Dandemonium Podcast. This is the 32nd episode of the Dandemonium Podcast. I did take last weekend off. I was a little hungover, and I meant to continue on early on in the week, but honestly, is just feeling a little overwhelmed with everything. I decided to trim down my stresses a little bit and my responsibilities and say, you know what, I'm going to focus on me right now. So that brings me into kind of what this episode is about. I got like almost five freaking pages here that I typed out. And I already recorded almost 20 minutes of this podcast. I feel like it was stale. It wasn't from my own words, although I wrote it down, so it is my words. But it just felt like it was scripted. So I'm going to try and re-record this to make it a little bit more how I envision this episode to go. So as I mentioned last week, I missed my podcast episode. I was hungover. I took the time to just binge out on some Netflix. I had a turkey raffle. I fulfilled an obligation with something I had going on for like 2 weeks and basically raffling off a full turkey dinner with stuffing and mashed taters and green beans and the rolls and the cranberries and all that. Serving 6 to 8. That was really fun. And then a second place runner-up, $25 gift certificate to barbecue. Only the best barbecue joint around in Algonquin, Illinois. And just check them out. Look for a barbecue in Illinois. I don't want to associate them with the podcast because they may not support it, but I love the place. And for the past 7 days, I'm going to take 30 days of not drinking. I feel like I've been drinking a little bit too much lately. Honestly, I started to feel like I was like, and I've been here before, starting to roll into a downward spiral slowly. And we can't deny the fact that alcohol is a depressant, right? You can't deny that it has some sort of psychological, physical, and emotional effect on your system, especially in a little bit too much of excess. So we got to recognize that. There's two things that you can do. You can either make excuses and say, well, I've had a good day, so I'm going to have a drink. I've had a bad day, so I'm going to have a drink. This e-learning shit is terrible, so daddy's going to have a beer, mommy's going to have a glass of wine, and we're going to go upstairs and just for the next 8.5 minutes and bang 1 hour real quick, and then come back down. Hopefully everybody's relaxed. Is that how your relationships go? See, I'm so out of tune with relationships. I feel like that's how it should go, but I feel like that's not the way that it actually goes. So you can keep making excuses, and if you had a great day, oh, it's so beautiful outside, I'm going to have a drink. Fuck this pandemic shit, I'm going to have a drink. I've had such a bad day with these Zoom meetings, and I can't get my work done because the kid's crying, the dog's shitting in the house, and I don't know where to turn. I can't keep focus on the actual screen. I'm on mute half the time, yelling at the kids, and working in your skivvies all day, cleaning up after the dog, crying over spilt milk. Or we could take the other approach and actually recognize, be like, hey, I've been drinking a little bit too much. I'm not feeling so hot. My brain feels submerged in alcohol. Everything is a chore. I'm neglecting my responsibilities. I'm starting to see a pattern. This is starting to get out of control. So either you're going to make those excuses and you can find excuses all day long and make excuses for your actions all day long. Or you could be like, well, because nothing's your fault, right? Or you could say, wrong. It is our fault. It's personal choice, responsibility. Like making any decision in life, you have to deal with the consequences and you have to try and, move forward and be conscious of what your actions are and what you're doing. Ultimately is what I'm trying to say. So for the past 7 days, it's been really interesting. I went into this and it was It was day one on Sunday. I was hungover. I already mentioned the raffle, which I had done, and then I just binged some Netflix. Congratulations to the winners, by the way. And proceeded the rest of the day with Netflix and being a slug on the couch and not doing anything, trying to recover. Day two on Monday, I'm feeling a little bit better, still foggy-headed, back to work, and I do work at home. Still a very low ambition and a want to drink any alcohol whatsoever. It was still easy peasy, day number two. And then day three was Tuesday. I could start to feel that my head started to clear up a little bit. It was a better, easier morning. I had more energy. It was still easy peasy. I didn't really want to drink. It was, nothing really didn't concern me. I didn't really think about it. But time started to seem to move a little bit slower on Tuesday and not escaping me. Like if I were to have a drink and, that's one beer might be an hour, and then I have another one and that's another hour. And then I just get distracted. I start to get unfocused and unmotivated to actually pay any attention to my responsibilities. So I got a lot done on Tuesday. I cleaned the house, the kitchen, the living room, the dishes, the laundry. I vacuumed. I cleaned the office and organized all the backup mail. I got this pile of mail where I'll just collect the mail. I don't even really look at it half the time, and it's such a bad habit. I'll just put it in a pile, and it accumulates and accumulates, and it haunts me from day to day till finally I can't take it anymore. I clean up, I organize, I go through all the mail. So I got all that done on Tuesday. So I've already made 2 changes. The first one, making it a point not to drink. So I'm changing something that I have control over, something that affects me physically, mentally. And number 2, I'm changing my surroundings. I clean my house. It's a fresh new start. I will stress over and over, and I've already said multiple times on this podcast, that if you're in a slump or you're not feeling so hot or whatever the case may be, just change something around you. Rearrange a room, clean a room, make a repair on your house, whatever it is, spend just a little bit of time to knock that off your list. Even if it's a hobby, spend a little bit of time investing or looking into or investigating or finding information about a new hobby that you want to do if you're not familiar with it. Or take that step and try and plan out the next step for turning that hobby into real life. So that's all on Tuesday, right? I've made progress from Sunday to Tuesday already in 3 days. So day 4, we're at Wednesday. It's an easier morning yet, even more energy. I'm spending less time on social media, spending more time focused on my responsibilities and things that I've been meaning to get done all year, some of them all year long. I took 10 hours in front of the computer to catch up on some business financial matters that I've been putting off all year in a clean space. I'm just feeling good about things. I'm getting shit done. I'm in a clean space, enjoying some good old RC Cola. And it's surprising, with RC Cola, I used to drink pop all day long. By the end of the day, I might have 4 or 5 cans of, like a cola. Like typically, Coke was always my favorite, above Pepsi. Sorry, you Pepsi lovers. But Pepsi's pretty good too. But just that caramely sugar is just not good for you. So surprisingly, I can stop myself, unlike I can with beer sometimes, after 2 RC Colas. And then I got to switch to water. So I've been drinking more water lately. That's an awesome thing. And I got a lot done financially with the business. And that was Wednesday. So we're on day 5, Thursday. I had a late night Wednesday, so I had a later morning, but I woke up, still good energy, working from home, computer work, and preparing for an installation on Friday. Since time is lingering a bit and it's moving a little bit slower, I've been so productive in the past few days, just immersed in everything, that I'm just in a spot where I have extra time. So I'm like, my brain starts to distort and manipulate my success and wants to reward myself. And can you guess how my brain is telling me to reward myself? That's right, through beer. Saying it's okay, it starts playing tricks on me. This type of thing can start to expose really how in tune you are with your body and your brain, the connection of the two, how much we follow those impulses, How much do we question our own thoughts? Just like in any decision, can it not be just a series of pros and cons, give and take, thought and planning versus impulse? I don't think it's always great to over-rationalize or over-analyze or to always avoid the more risky decisions for sake of playing it safe. That's not a good thing either. So there's just a continual balance. But either way, day 5, Thursday, was another day in the books, celebrating the small accomplishments of the day. And I've realized by Thursday, I was able to talk to customers without sounding like a dumbass. My cognitive abilities are on superhuman level. I can feel every neuron firing in my brain. In reality, it's still probably like, hold on. Yeah. As I was saying, that's disgusting. Just having a little fun. I gotta have fun, right? It's a fucking hobby. I feel like it's a little too rigid. I gotta change this format. I'm reading off some of the paper, but I don't know. I tell you, when I'm not, before the setup, I got this whole internal monologue. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be amazing. Awesome. And then I get on the mic, I start recording, and I've already deleted half the files that I was recording. It's a little frustrating, man. And that's another thing with the booze. Like, I want to be a little bit more loose. And half the time that I've been doing this podcast, so I'm used to being in front of the mic, at least, with a little bit of alcohol. It doesn't mean that I'm wasted or anything like that, but, I probably had a drink. And right now I got some RC, so I'm thirsty. So anyways, that brings us to day 6, Friday. I closed some more sales. Awesome energy, feeling good. First installation job that I've done all week. So I'm finally going to a customer. It's an on-site installation, and it should only take about 3 hours in a different town, about 40 minutes away. I knew I had some help, so my stress was a little bit lower than normal. With the large format wraps, especially wrapping the roof of a vehicle, it's a lot easier if you have one person on each side of the vehicle to manipulate and the vinyl and just lay everything down nice and flat. For wraps, it's kind of a big deal. So I was already started out with the mindset, get out there, do the work, do it well, and keep moving. Hoorah! Right? Isn't that like what the Marines do? I was never a Marine, so this is don't be hating on me, Marines. But that was a mindset, of a Marine, of a warrior, of somebody that's like, and we have control of how we look at that, right? There's a lot of different perspective, but ultimately we're in control when we start training our brain to think in certain ways. Now by Friday though, after this job, and wraps are frustrating, so it tests my patience. And by the time, anytime I do a wrap job, that's one of the first things I want to do is like go home and especially on a Friday, go home, get this party started, crack open a beer. I got some work done, feeling good, and it's just a stress reliever. So right now my brain is in full force trying to trick me into thinking I need to be rewarded again. The voice turns from a good-hearted, persuasive means like it did on, Thursday, like, come on, man, you can have a beer, to a possessed demon-like creature. Come on, you pussy. You've earned this. You can just have one. What's the big deal? Come on, you booze dog. You lion-faced, dog-faced pony soldier. You fucking booze bag. You can do this. Do it. So I got two voices in my head, and this is 2 different days, just one more day. It goes from a calm, still reasonable, level-headed, to just this demonic, it's Friday, bitches. Okay, but the voice of reason jumps in because I've trained myself to check these impulses, right? And it says, you made a pact with yourself. Don't do it. Stick with the plan. You booze bag. Imagine right now that you're having a sip of beer. You crack that baby open, and you start taking a sip. What does that feel like? And the answer is quite a failure. By the first sip, I'm like, oh yeah, was it worth it, huh? Was it worth it, you son of a bitch? Does that taste good? You plan to go 30 days? You only made it 6? Are you kidding me? You worthless piece of garbage? And then I was like, I try to tune it out, and I take another sip, and it's like, oh yeah, refreshing, huh, you little loser. You twat son of a bitch, you no willpower having son of a gun. And then I'm like, try to ignore it. I have a third sip. I wouldn't even be able to enjoy a beer because I made a pact with myself. 30 days. That was the deal, man. If I fail myself in 6 days, as opposed to 30 days, if I go a full 30 days, I reached a goal. I reached the goal that I set out to make. And I did it. How much better am I going to feel in that case scenario than if I fail? I set out 30 days and I fail at day 6? Are you kidding me? What kind of shit is that? So I really like that demon voice, coming into my head and be like trying to test me, test my patience, try to play tricks on me. But ultimately, I'm in control. And I reached out to a friend like that knows what I'm trying to do, and I sent a text and said, you know what? I really feel like I want to have a drink. I don't know how in depth I went, but I just basically reached out saying, it's been 6 days. I really want to drink today. And then she replied back and said, you know what? Just keep going. Just one more day. But that one more day was able to push me into today. And I'm still feeling it, but I got that extra drive because I made it one more day. So now I'm going to go one more day and then push it one more day. And that's how it works. You ultimately have to take control of your actions. And I am feeling good. I got more energy. I feel a little bit loose now that I've been almost 20 minutes into the podcast. I'm damn near done with this thing, and I'm just starting to get comfortable with it. So I didn't cave. I kept with a pact that I made for myself, and I kept myself busy just listening to podcasts, and I wasted the rest of the time on scrolling through social media and just seeing what's going on and kind of trying to get myself current on what's happening out there, which rolls into day 7, and that's where we're at today, Saturday. I enjoyed the day. It was relaxing. I woke up with ease, not really much planned. I got more work on the way, which is really good, so I can pay another month of my mortgage and bills. Hoorah! Once again, yes! I'm finally getting around to podcasting. I started typing. I typed over 4 pages of material, and I'm scanning. It should be like 45 minutes of stuff, but maybe not, but maybe so. But I did cut out some of it. So I'm finally getting around to podcasting. I'm hopped up on coffee and smelling the flowers, but it's not actual flowers. These flowers smell like skunk a little bit. Speaking of such, that actually sounds pretty good. So I'm going to get to it. I'm going to wrap this up. And through that whole story, I know you're asking yourself, what's next in line for Dan and his Joe Dirt feel-good story? Well, the sky's the limit, and I'm going to take every one of you booze bags with me. So if you like the show, tell your friends, pass it on, like the Facebook page, Dandemonium Podcast. Look me up on iTunes Podcasts, Dandemonium Podcast. Look for the logo. Find me on Spotify. Again, Dandemonium Podcast, music, Google Play, whatever the hell that is. Just look up Dandemonium Podcast on your favorite source of listening to music and or podcasts. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, and don't forget to booze it up. But be safe while boozing it up and be responsible. Don't forget, if you're not following the state regulations, you're protesting. Stick to that story. In conclusion, the fact that I'm making this public is an additional accountability factor and a personal reminder looking back to myself, and a note to others that willpower and self-intuition and reflection can overcome great odds and pushing through and create a path to personal achievements and expand outlooks. It starts from the inside. Thank you, everybody. Hope you tune into the next podcast. Take care. Have a good holiday.